Hello everyone, myself Padmaja, Associate Professor, Department of CSE, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Now today we are going to discuss about the list data type. Now list is a very powerful data type which contains heterogeneous set of elements. So lists are declared using the square brackets. So list is used to store multiple values in a single variable and it is a collection of heterogeneous values. Now how to create a list in Python? So first of all, before creating list in Python, let us understand that what is the nature of list in Python. So the nature of list is list contains an ordered collection of items and list is modifiable and or changeable and or mutable you can say, and it allows duplicate values. So you can access an element based on its index value. So in a list, items are indexed starting from index number 0, then index number 1 and so on. So items are retrieved based on indexing mechanism. So a list can have another list inside or list within list you can write, that is called a nested list concept is also there in list. So nested list concept is also there. Now let us first start with how to create a list. Okay. Now to create a list, we need to use the square bracket. Here you can see here list 1 is equal to a set of flowers I have written rose, jasmine, lily. So it's set of flowers of all are string type. Now if you will print that list, you will see all the items are stored in an ordered form. Next, we can check where the list object has been created using the id method. So you can write print id of list 1. So it will show you the memory address where this object has been created. Similarly, if you want to see the nature or the data type, so you can use the method type of list 1. If you see, then you will see that the data type is list type. Now, similarly, here in list 2, we have created a list consisting of a set of integers. So you can write positive or negative integers and a list can be created. So 10, minus 50, 70, 93 and 35. So these are the values I have taken to create a list. Similar manner, list 3 is a set of Boolean values, true, false values I have taken. Similarly, you can create a list with similar type of items or you can create a list with a heterogeneous type of items. For example, here my list contains one integer, hello is a string, similarly 3.4 is a float value, one complex number and one Boolean value. So you can say that list is a heterogeneous collection of items. Now, similarly, there is a nested list over here. My list is equal to hello. Then there is a nested list consisting of some numbers, integers 80, 40 and 60. Another nested list consisting of a set of characters or strings, then true and one complex number. So it is also a mixed type of elements with the nested list inside it. Now, so if you see the outputs of each one, so you will find that first we have made one list of strings, then you have checked what is the memory address, then you have checked what is the data type, then we have created the other list. Now, how to create a list? For list creation, you can use square bracket. Otherwise, you can create using the list method. So, list is a built-in constructor or method to create a list in Python. Now, let us see how to create a list. So, you know that list items are indexed and you can access those items based on the index numbers. So, let us see first how to create a list using the list method. Now, here list is equal to lst is a list object is equal to, we are using the list method over here and a set of values I am giving in the form of a tuple. So here rose, lily, jasmine, 10, 20, these values are given inside a parenthesis, normal parenthesis. That means we have written a tuple in it. Now the list method will convert this tuple into a list. So if you see the output, see that change in the bracket. That means earlier the list of values were enclosed within the normal parenthesis which was a tuple earlier. Now the set of values are inside the square bracket. Now the list method has converted this into a list. Now similarly, if you want to access which value is there at index number 0 or which value is there at index number 4 or 5, so you can use the indexing mechanism here. So you can see here print lst of 0. So you will find that at index number 0 your rows is there. So you are getting the output as rows. Similarly, at index number 4, you have the value 20. So the index number by default starts with 0. Now similarly, if you want to display the values at different indexes, you can also write in one line. So you can see one example, print LST of 0, LST of 2, LST of 6. If you use commas and write, then at different index position, which values are there, that will be retrieved and in a single line in Python. Similarly, if you want, you can use negative indexing values also. In Python, the negative indexing starts from -1 and it is from right to left. So, whenever you will write LST of -1, then the last value will be printed. Similarly, if you will write -2, then last but one value will be printed because the negative index starts from right to left and it is from -1, -2, -3 and so on. So, you will find you can use both positive index and negative index to access the values from a list. Similarly, if you want to retrieve any value from a nested list, for example, see a nested list, happy is one of the value. Second is a set of numbers stored inside another list. So, this is a nested list. Now, if I am writing 0, 1, that means if I am providing how it stores the values in a nested list, it stores in the form of a matrix. So, here 0, 1, 0 indicates the row number, 1 indicates the column number. That means at 0th row, first index, which value is there, that value will be the output. So, at 0th row, we have happy. And at first index, so A is there, so output will be A. Similarly, at first index, at first row, third column. So, you can see the next example, first row, third index or third column. If you will see, the value is 35. Because in the first row, we have the nested, that is the set of integers are there. Now, if you will check the index number, at 0th index, you have 20. At first index, you have 10. Similarly, at third index, you have 35. So, the answer is 35. But if you will write, nested index and list of 4.0 if you want to retrieve a value, but if you are giving a float value, then you will get error. This is called a type error. That means the list indices must be integers. Float value cannot be used in the list indices. Now, let us understand how to do slicing in list using the slicing operator. So, slicing operator is the colon operator which will do slicing. Slicing is nothing but finding a substring from the main string is called slicing. Similarly, if it is a string, you will get a substring. Similarly, if it is a set of integer or mixed type of data, then you can slice one part of the list and you can display. So, whenever you do slicing, the output is again a list. Now, let us understand how to do slicing. Now, suppose there is a list, my list is program. My list is program. Now, I want to print the elements from starting value 1:4. So, print my list 1:4. It means that the start value is 1 and end value is your 4 it is given. That means it will display the list from index number 1 to end -1. That means it will display from 1 to 3rd. It will display from starting index 1 to 3rd. That means the 4th index value will not come. The rule says that start to end -1. So, the output is ROG. These 3 characters are retrieved or it has been sliced. Next is, if you are writing colon -5, colon -5 if you are writing, then you are giving from right to left the index number -5 you are giving. Then the values which is there before -5, that is P and R. Okay, the starting value you have not mentioned means by default it is 0. So, from beginning, whatever the values which is left out after -5, that will be printed because end value you have given. So, P and R is the output. Similarly, in the third example, if you are writing 5 colon, that means start value you have given, but end value you have not given. So, it means that starting from index number 5 to the rest of the list. So, you are getting the output here. At index number 5, we have A and M. So, are the 2 values which you are getting over here. Now, similarly, if you write print my list only colon, that means you are not mentioning the start and end value, then the entire list will be printed as it is. Okay. Now, similarly, you can print the list. So, these are the different ways of doing slicing. Now, let us understand the slicing, how to do slicing using the different ways. Now, suppose you are writing A of start colon stop. Okay, then the item starts up to and it goes up to stop minus 1. Similarly, if you are just mentioning the start value A of start colon, that means it will start from the starting index value and it will go up to the rest of the list. That means the complete list will be displayed. If you are writing colon stop, that means the items will be started from the beginning and it will stop at stop minus 1. Similarly, you can write simply colon, which means that if you do not mention start and stop value, then it will print the entire list. Next is minus 1. That means it will print the list from the back side, that is from the right to left. First index value will be printed, that is minus 1. Similarly, minus 2 colon or colon minus 2. These are the different ways of doing slicing in Python. Now, let us see some of the examples. For example, there is a number list consisting of a set of numbers 10, 20, 30 up to 100. Now, if I want to do slicing, if I am writing num list 1 double colon minus 1, what do you mean by this? Whenever you mention double colon, so in slicing, you can supply 3 values. You can provide 3 values. One is called start value, one is called stop value, and one is called step value. Start, stop, and step. So, in this example, start value is equal to 1, stop is not given. That means stop is not given means entire list will be taken and with a step of minus 1. Okay, with a step of minus 1. So, it will display the list. With a step of minus 1, it will display the list. So, in this way, you can mention. Similarly, if you want to display the first element in the list, so you can simply write the index number 0. If you want to print the last element in the list, you can write the number list of minus 1. Similarly, you can see this example. If I want to print from 2nd to 4th, then what should I write? So, I should write num list 2 colon 5. Starting index is 2, ending index minus 1. If you write 5, then it will print up to 4th. Similarly, if I want to print with a step of 2, then I can mention the start index. You can see this example, num list colon 2. That means start and stop values are not given. So, by default, the start value will be 0. End value is not given means the entire list will be taken with a step of 2. So, you can see in this example, it has printed all the odd numbers in the list. Similarly, 1 double colon 3 means start value is 1. Your stop value is the entire list if nothing is given, and 3 means with a step of 3. That means with a step of 3 it is printing. So, output is 20, 50 and 80. Next, if it is written colon minus 1, then it will do reversing. If start and stop are not mentioned and with a step of minus 1 if you mention, then it will do reversing. And this is the most useful slicing. And if you want to reverse a string or if you want to reverse a list, then it is very easy to do this indexing. Now, this is all about how to do slicing in Python, in list. Now, let us see Python objects are mutable objects, or once the list is created, it is modifiable or updatable. So, how to do updation in a list? Okay, let us see some examples that how to modify a list. Suppose there is a number list consisting of the numbers from 10 to 100. Now, at the 5th index, I want to insert a new number. Already a number is there at 5th index. I want to change it to 500. So, you can write num list of 5 is equal to 500. That means the value which is there at the 5th index, that will be changed to 500. You can see the output. Earlier, the value was 60. Now, it has modified to 500. Similarly, if you want to append a new value to the list, you can write num underscore list dot append. Append is a built-in method in list which can append a value to the end of the list. So, here I am appending a value 200 to the list. So, you can see the output that the value 200 is appended to the list. Similarly, if I want to delete a particular value, then I can delete it with the index number. Using the del keyword, a particular value can be deleted from the list. So, del num list of 3. That means the value which is there at the 3rd index can be deleted. So, here you can see here the value which is there at the 3rd index is deleted, which was 40. Now, similarly, if you want to delete a range of values using del keyword, that is also possible. So, you can write del num list from 2:5. That means the values which are present from starting index 2, the ending index minus 1. So 2, 3, 4. These 3 values will be deleted from the list. So this is the way you can append, or you can delete, or you can modify the existing list. That's why list objects are known as mutable. So here we have seen the examples where we have appended a new value, and we have modified an existing value, then we have deleted a single value, and also we have deleted a range of values. So with these operations, you can understand that how the lists are mutable. Now, let us see how to create a list and how to delete the entire list. For example, I am creating a list which is a heterogeneous collection of elements. So I am creating 10, 45, true, 40.56, and so on. A list of values I have taken. All are different data types. No problem. So I am printing the list. Then if I want to delete the list, so you can use the del keyword. So del num_list. So the entire list will be deleted. Okay. After deleting the list, if you want to check whether the list exists or not. So if I am writing print num list, then it will show you the name error, because the name doesn't exist, because you have deleted the list and the name is no more. So you will get the num error. So you need to understand the different types of errors also in Python. Now let us go for how to insert a list into another list using different ways or different mechanism. So how to insert a list into another list using indexing mechanism, let us understand. For example, there is a number list consisting of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, these numbers, and this is the original list we are displaying first. Okay. Now, suppose there is a number list 2 which you have created. Suppose we want to create another list consisting of set of strings A, B, C are the 3 characters or strings. I want to insert it at second position. Then what will happen? So I can write num list based on the index. At index number 2, what is the value already existing in the original list? It is 30. It is 30. So if I want to insert this list as a nested list to the original list, then what will happen? So if I am using indexing mechanism here, then what will happen? This list will be inserted, no doubt, but it will replace the original value 30. So in the output, you can see over here that 10, 20 is there. After that, 30 is replaced with the new list here. So ABC is inserted as a list within list, and 30 is replaced here. Now, similarly, if you do not want to replace that value 30, then you can go for insert method. So there is an alternative that if you do not want to lose the original list value 30, then instead of using indexing mechanism, you can use insert method. That means I can insert a list into another list using insert method. So I can write num list dot insert 2, list 2. That means list 2 I have created. At second index position, this will be inserted. That means 30 will be retained in the list. Similarly, there is one more way that a list can be created from a tuple. So you can write list within bracket. If I am giving a tuple, a set of values enclosed within normal parenthesis, then a list is created. Similar way, to create a nested list constructor or the built-in method list can be used multiple times also. Let us see how it is. Suppose I want to create a list L2. L2 is equal to list. Then first I have given one tuple 10, 20. Then inside that I have given another tuple list. Using list method I have given another tuple ABC and then the remaining elements. So here the list method is used twice and it will create the list within list from the tuples. So 2 tuples are given over here. So the nested tuple will be converted into a nested list and then the outer tuple will be converted into the main list. So you can see the output here. So using the list method, the list within list can be created from the tuples. Now, let us move on to the next topic, that is called cloning or copying list. So how to clone or copy a list? So in most of the cases, if you want to modify a list, but simultaneously if you want to keep a copy of the original list, then this cloning mechanism or copying mechanism will be useful. So to create a copy of the original list, there are different mechanisms and we need to understand what are the different ways of doing cloning or copying of the original list. Let us see one by one. So first one is called using slicing. So one is called assigning, second one is called slicing, third one is using the built-in methods. So let us see one by one. Suppose there is list 1 is equal to, it consists of a set of numbers 10, 20, 30 and up to 60. So this is my original list. I want to create a new copy of the same list. So what can I do? I can do simple assignment. That means I can write list 2 is equal to list 1. Now what will happen? The content of list 1 and list 2 are same now. But if you will check the memory address, then the memory address of list 1 and 2 are same. 1 and 2 are same. They refer to the same memory address where the original list is available. But both the lists are containing the same content. This is called cloning or copying. Now, if you want to use the slicing or indexing mechanism, also another list can be created. For example, list 3 is equal to list 1 within square bracket, write down the colon. That means it will copy all the elements. It will take all the elements from starting to ending and it will create a list 3. Now, what is the difference between these two mechanisms? In the first mechanism where you have done list 2 is equal to list 1, you have just assigned it to a new name. In that case, the memory address of list 1 and 2 are same. But if you will go for this, your colon operator, that is called the slice operation you have used and you have created list 3, then you will find that list 3 is a new list which is created with a different address by taking the values from list 1. So that is the difference. Similarly, so here I have printed the memory addresses for list 1, 2 and 3. So you can have a look. Memory address of 1 and 2 are same, but 3 is different. Now, similarly, I can create a list 5 using extend method also. Let us see what is list 5. List 5 is an empty list initially. Okay. Now, I want to create a copy of list 1 and store it into list 5. So, I can use list 5 dot extend method, extend within bracket list 1. That means the extend method will copy or will take all the content from list 1 and it will add it to list 5. So, earlier list 5 was empty. In this way, list 5 will contain all the values from list 1. So, this is also known as one type of list cloning. If you will use extend method and you will create a new list, then what will happen? It will create a new memory address where list 5 is stored. So, this is the difference. There is another way using the copy method, built-in copy method. You can also create or you can do cloning of the list. For example, list 6 you see, list 6 is originally empty list. Now, list 6 I want to use the copy mechanism. So, I can write list 1 dot copy method so that the entire list which is there in list 1, the entire set of numbers which is there in list 1 will be copied to list 6. So, the content of list 1 and list 6 are same, but if you see the memory address, list 1 and list 6 are having two different memory addresses. So, you can see the memory address of list 6 and list 1 are entirely different. That means a new list is created with the same contents from list 1. So, this is known as the cloning or copying mechanism in list. Now, let us understand some of the basic list operations that we use very frequently. For example, you can take the length is the built-in method to find the length of the list. You can use the plus operator to combine two lists. You can use repetition operator, star operator to repeat the elements of the list. Similarly, you can use in and not in operator, membership operator to check whether a particular element is present in the list or not. Similarly, you can use the built-in function max, min, sum to do the arithmetic operation, that is to find the maximum value, minimum value and sum of all elements in the list. And you can use all and any method to iterate to check whether the lists are iterable or not. If all the elements are true elements, then all method will return true. If the list is empty also, then also it returns true. Similarly, any method you can use. If any of the values are false, then also if any element of the list is true, then it returns true. If all elements are false, then it returns false. Similarly, the built-in list method is used to convert any other data type, that is tuple or string or set or dictionary, into a list. And there is a frequently used method that is called sorted method. This sorted method, we sort the elements in ascending order by default, or descending order you can make it. So sorted method will return you a new sorted list. Now let us see some examples of each of these basic operations. Now suppose there is a number list originally containing some numbers from 10 to 100. Then I want to find out the minimum element in the list. So simply I can write the min method, minimum of the list name you can provide. So it will find out which element is minimum. Similarly, maximum method will give me the maximum value, and sum method will find out the sum of all the elements. But to apply this operation, min, max or sum, then the list must be containing some integers only. If the list contains heterogeneous type of data or mixed type of data, then min, max and sum cannot be applied. So only the restriction is you should take only integers or numbers in the list. Similarly, you can apply the membership operators to check whether an element is present in the list or not. For example, I am writing A not in the list. So the output of membership operator is always true or false. If the element is present, it returns true. If the element is not present, then it returns false. Similarly, you can check whether 50 is in the number list or not. So it will return you true. Similarly, your A is in number list. No, it is false. It is not there in the number list. Similarly, you can find out the length of the list by using the length method. And if you want to apply the concatenation operator or plus operator, you can see this example here. Suppose here there is a character list consisting of 3 characters A, B and C, and if I want to combine with the number list which I have created now, so I can do concatenation of 2 lists by using the plus operator. So here number list plus character list, both the lists will be combined and you will get the output. Similarly, if you want to repeat the elements of a particular list, you can use the star operator. Suppose character list into 2, then you will find that the character list elements is repeated twice. You can see the output over here. ABC is repeated twice. Now, similarly, you can apply all and any. In all, if all the elements are true, then it will return true. If any one of the element is true, then it returns true. Okay. Now, similarly, you can apply all and any to an empty list. So, for the empty list, all method will return true, but any will return false. Now, similarly, you can try a list with a number 0 over here. So, 0 is treated to be false element. So, here all, if you will apply the all method to this number list consisting of 0, 1, 2 and 3, then it will return you false, whereas any will return you true, because if any of the numbers are true, then it returns you true. Now, the last 3 is how to convert a tuple into list. So, I have already explained. So, here you are using the list method and we are providing a tuple, and that tuple will be converted into a list. So, you can provide a string, you can convert into a list, you can provide a set, you can convert into a list, you can provide a dictionary also, and you can convert that into a list. So, a data type conversion from one form to another form can be done very easily. So, this is all about the basic list operations in Python. So, today we discuss about how to create a list, how to access the elements of the list, how to modify an existing list, and then how to apply slicing operation in the list, followed by what are the basic list operations we have discussed. So, in the next video, we will discuss about what are the built-in list methods in detail. Thank you so much.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.